Hello there, fellow ELS participants and warriors and law aficionados. Who ever thought, uh, you know, that any of us would have got to this part in our journey and to understand that everything systemically is based on our unaware agreements and agreements to things that automatically overreach our inherent rights. The purpose of this video is I'm seeking investors, and I'll tell you why. This is very, very, very exciting news. My mentor, after months of negotiations and stuff, has agreed that he will sit down and write the book. This book is going to be very detailed, way more than I could ever put together, because we're talking about a guy that has been studying this for 20 years. And in order to nail him down to a seat and put his fingers to keys, it's going to cost money. So we're looking for investors who are interested in getting this book out. This is a book that's unparalleled. This is not seen anywhere in any law library, or definitely not in any public library. Unless it's, under the dark market or underground, I'm not sure. But I've never seen it, and I have never heard anybody bring to my attention that the method in which the discovery of what law really is has been put forth, other than Blackstone's, and even him as a commission to do so, did it through the lens of being subject to lords and the caste system, essentially. So he had to write in a mannerism for the system to be, have its foundations in order for it to create any other subordinate laws, under the English law. And does anyone even read that? No, I guarantee if you get 1,000 lawyers in a room, you'd probably be hard to find somebody that maybe 5% of them, or even 5 of them, had picked up the book and begin to read it. And that's all part of the program. And the program is we see it unveiled daily of the absurdity that we have been agreeing to, and everything's, including the science that we thought at least has some merit, is being, shown that it's all pseudoscience and nothing's really as it seems, except for the agreement that we have all participated in, and that is the fiction that has been driving us in our lineage, but of course through generations past forward. So this book, will need about $25,000, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot going on in this book. It's not just writing it; it is able to explain it in a way that's never been explained before, whereby a person will know exactly the different subject matters, and understanding the Dominion territory and where Blackstone touched on. Of course, he divided it. Of those of Dominion territory. He then went into that of persons and that of things, and those need to be expressed and how and drawn into a focus or an access point that then ends us up in our warranty, which is the Settled Land Act 1925. And for those who are first listening, what is our end goal? Our end goal is to terminate the settlement not subject to a trust through the act of reversion. And in order to do that, that's a common law interest. It is not all those equitable interests that created under it. We need to get into the common law. And that is extremely difficult to do because of the bar union's propensity to control the market under the banking cartel, essentially the unincorporated association, which then controls all the mannerisms in which we affect interactions with each other. where, because that is a predominant feature, where the law of merchants sort of started to converge with the common law during the era of Cook. It is now, that is the only system that everybody's been trained in, and of course not the law, and nor does it have any interest in individual rights. So this book has to have charts. It has to be able to move according to the acts. Of course, we've got to write a bit of history to give you the foundations of where it began, to then incorporate the acts like Quiem Taurus, the Sesuaki Acts of 1540, 1666, 1707. We've got the major one of the major turning points during King Henry VIII being the Statute of Uses of 1535. And then we've got moving into the Bill of Rights, the Act of Settlement, the Settle of States Acts, and then culminating into Land and Property Acts of 1925. So that is always got to be exposed, and it has to be exposed in such a manner that when you reach the end, when you reach the warranty, you foundationally have all the power now to enforce that right, because it's all written there, and in a manner that you could point to any one page and then go to a particular part that then says, okay, I need to deal with the person at this point. I've got to understand the difference between when I'm arguing the person versus the thing, so I don't commingle things, and essentially don't commingle equity law versus common law and such. You've got to be able to go through each one of those things and be able to land in that right to go through the process of the civil death of the beneficial status, and that then relates to the act of act of reversion, to which then puts you into the status of settler, as you've come to learn. So it's a lot, to say the least. But of course, my mentor's time. I mean, this is 20 years. This is unparalleled in discovery for me, in which there is that individual that I have access to that has agreed to put this book together. And honestly, we do have the foundation set up because it has been working on for some time. But now we've got to get design editors. We've got to make sure that we are following a certain means in which, when the editor reads it, we are arriving to the goal that we want, so that all the answers are made that are available for that person to now exercising from their true inherent rights, those rights that can't be transferred. So, it is a lot of time that's going to be consumed here. Of course, we want this book yesterday. Imagine if you had that book. And I know there's some out there that have gone through the laws, and they know absolutely unequivocally that they understand now where the law really is. And to imagine having a book that you didn't have to now keep on going through and piecemealing things together, where it would flow right from page one right to the ending, to then arrive to exactly those answers that you've been seeking and now acknowledging, but unable to explain it in a more concise manner and what you want done. And especially to have it inculcated into your mind, where you can see where you may be commingling and intermingling things. Okay, and I still do that. So it's going to be, oh man, this book is going to be, so anticipated. I want it yesterday. I mean, I don't think I would leave my room until that book was read from one cover to the other, one end to the other, and then start again. Now, having said all that, what is the other reason for this book? Not only are we setting things in place, that we can slam down on the Harvard professor's desk and he can read it from one end to the other and go, yeah, there it is. That is something I could never explain or never could have brought to the system. Or we could give to, more importantly, to a lawyer as evidence. Now here is the next part of why this book is so important. We have gone through court. We've tried different things. Our we've come to the realization we beat the law to death. We know it inside and out. Okay, it's the other party that doesn't. Or if they do, they don't need to discuss it. They have plausible deniability subject to the oath that they have agreed to, which then automatically removes them from the law. So the oaths, by doing that and forming the agreement, remove them from access to the law. And so they can use anything in order to protect that oath and protect the system. And do it most often through manipulation or deceitfulness. Now, we know that the lawyer guild, the bar union, can work and does work through manipulation and deceit, as long as it doesn't lie. Long as a lawyer's not outright caught in a lie, they use manipulation and deceit. That is what they're allowed to do for the best interest of the client. So now you have that judge sitting behind the bench, trained through that process. So he will use that exact same thing. We are caught now in facing, we need a good trial lawyer or administrative lawyer who understands the process, not only in putting in putting in evidence properly based on the rules, which is a book apparently, rules of evidence bigger than probably most than Blackstone's commentaries. It's quite comprehensive, and I am not going to take the time of my life anymore, now that we know law, that I'm going to spend about learning how to incorporate or how to interact with the system. Why not pay someone for that? That has done it, and that has been qualified to do it. Not only qualified to bring in properly what we're trying to convey into the court and then have settled, but also to listen to where the other party is manipulating, okay, or deceitfully changing things in order to gain, gain favor within the court's eyes. We don't even know what things that they're using and what things they do behind I mean, these guys have been, hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds of years. Even talking about Henry VIII, when he had to barrel down on the lawyers and say, hey, you listen up, you help pass the statute of uses, or I'm going to come after your industry, and I'm going to cut your ability to earn wages, and how you've been doing it this far. So they have designed a system to protect their own, to protect the system itself. So we have to have a lawyer that's attuned to listening how the other lawyers are acting, and how they're bringing in their means in which to try to prove that we don't have this right to terminate the settlement. Okay, and that's all we get. We get such basic replies. It is mind-numbing. All they have to throw is the word like "opca" out. Okay, organized pseudo-legal commercial arguments is because it doesn't fall within their legal principles of the court, and we're already lost. We're not going to win this battle if we don't have the ear of a proper judge, and a judge that's not foundationally set to protect the system at all costs, no matter what. That he's willing to use at his disposal, and what he's been trained to do, manipulation and deceit, in order to pass his orders and make determinations. We need a proper and an informed trial lawyer or administrative lawyer to help us through the process of entering evidence through their rules, and also listening to, of course, how the other party is playing or trying to bring in motions and trying to circumvent and trying to overreach what we're trying to convey. Now, so we've got that, that point, that juncture point, or that access point, that we're okay. We need a lawyer, not to speak for us, of course, because the law is ours, but to act on our behalf through procedure. But now think about you sitting there and learning the law, and even for me, sitting down with a lawyer who's going to spend time with you, and you're going to try explaining what the law is. If you had the book, if we had the book, you slammed it on the table. You say, I've got 50 grand in my pocket right here, because I think that's about the first time it goes through, it's going to cost that, okay? But once it's through, then of course it's already set precedent. We can move on from that point on. But slam that book on the table and say, here it is. You need to understand what that is. That is what I need you to help me bring into the court, okay? And it's all here. Footnotes. Here's all the laws. Here's all the here's the complete history from one point to the other. And here's all the different acts that have been created in order to support that history and support this right for me to terminate the settlement, not subject to a trust. Okay. Now you have a book. See again how quick or how much ease of use are you going to have that moment on. This book is going to be invaluable. In fact, what you've learned so far, and I'm sure that you can already ascertain that is invaluable. So when you look at everything else, you're just now even going like, wow. Now, like I always say, I can see the room that the elephant's in. While everybody else is still chewing or putting together that elephant, you can see the room that the elephant's in. That is the book, okay? That book is describing the room. So, investors. Well, investors, and maybe some people just say, hey, I got millions sitting here, so I can throw $10,000 into something I think is worthwhile and help mankind, and help move us into the golden age. By all means, whatever works for you as an investment, then we'll work out negotiations on what you expect for that investment, or donation would be great. And what I'm looking for is the larger investors. I think we got one investor right now for about 10 grand, who's been learning the law for some time, and he said, yeah, definitely, let's get it done. But looking for another 15. I'm thinking that's going to put us right through to get us proper design editors, understanding the publishing, get us someone who can really understand what we're trying to put together, and not only that, be able to say at the end of the day, yes, you reached your goal. And once we hit that point, wow, anybody that's going to read this book is going to be, it's the Bible. I'm telling you right now, it's more stronger than the Bible, because it is the truth. It's not something that is built on piecemeal with a bunch of different ideas together. It is the foundational truth that is going to be proven 100% by everything that's already written in law. And law is the only truth that I've ever come across. So, the 10,000 would be the best. 5,000, 10,000 investors would be great. I want to keep it to a minimum, because I don't want to get caught up in dealing with the different nuances of personalities, and people want certain things and stuff like that. I just want to keep the focus on the book. I want to, as soon as I have that money, he's nailed to the seat and laptops in front of him, and we're going at it. Okay, until that book is done. And we're going to update. I'm going to update videos of every word where we're at that process. And I mean, yeah, if people want to donate smaller amounts, we can, I can get your information. I'll change my email, write down the information when the book's done. You have a signed copy and stuff like that and sent to you, and whatever. Because we don't know what the book's value is going to be at. I mean, just think of a law book with the expenses, those books. Even, the administration to even get to even learn law, what that cost is. This book is unparalleled. It's priceless. There is not a book like it that I have known, or that I just don't know. I don't think anybody's ever put it together. I mean, what we're doing is taking Blackstones and actually creating it for the individual, where Blackstones was created for the system. We're creating it for the individual. Not done because the system doesn't have any concern about the individual's rights. Okay, there's the societal rights, and those are subject to agreements. So as you already learned, and I'm just talking for the simple fact of talking, but I'm very excited about this book, and you should be too. Now there's no one can argue with you. If anybody's, that's why, I mean, what is my go-to, right? People come and I start talking to them, and And I just asked them, so what's law? What's money? What is government? And every one of them are shut down. You don't have people arguing with you anymore because they don't know. They truly don't know. And so now you have this book. Wow, here it is. Go through this book, and then you'll understand what law is. And I might even do a chapter on money. I wrote based on modern monetary theory, showing you what truly money is. So you have that as a foundation, but you're going to understand law, government, and most likely even money. Okay, you're going to have it all there in one book. And like I said, it's the Bible. It's the Bible of your individual rights and your inherent rights. So, after this video, make comments. You can talk to me personally if you want to, make arrangements, if you want to donate, and then put into the donation, this is for help with the book. Then we can exchange information so I get your name and we can work something out. Of course, anybody that does donate, if it means anything to them, like, believing that the enormity of this book, having the mentor sign it, the guy that 20 years studying the law, it will be, of course, included. And even perhaps, well, if you want myself too, I'll sign it as well because I'm going to be participating. And anybody else that is going to be donating and is okay with it and doesn't want to remain anonymous, their name go as a great gratitude and thank you in that book. So let's get this going. The book needs to be done. You know it. I know it. How many people out there don't even know that they need it, but they need it. We see where things are going, and we see it escalating, and escalating the absurdity where you can't even make sense to or talk to a regular human being anymore without them being so far out there that in the system that you just shut down. There's no sense. But having a book to put on the table, and that's, if I didn't mention already, which I think I already did, we got to get the lawyers up to speed, and that book is going to be our saving grace. In as much as that now, if we want to get it to trial by this time, as we get more and more trial experience, we get and get people through the gate. Well, that you have all that information and how much that's going to be worth for you when you're ready. And just think about the lawyers. We're going to create a whole new group of lawyers, those ones who are actually of law. Just think about that. And they're doing for the benefit of mankind. But not only that, we can always share that they get a percentage of our estate. Wow, what kind of money? That is the money that they make. Instead of swimming around and fighting within the cesspool, that they would get guaranteed from us. Wow. I mean, look at the benefits. Benefit society, benefit mankind, benefit for lawyers, benefit for everyone. Again, the book, man. The book is where we need to get to. Please, if you know anybody or you've got the funds in order to do so, reach out, make a donation. Again, we're looking for the larger donations because we want to get going immediately, but of course, not juggling a bunch of smaller donations and trying to negotiate terms with each individual. Just not interested in doing that. We want to put our energies into the book. And with that, please like, subscribe as usual if you haven't done so, and please get the word out there and groups. You guys all can put money into a group and do this as one group too. That you'll be mentioned as that entirety. Thank you for listening for this video. Of course, I always like to try to do a 5-minute video. That's why I'm never on TikTok, because I don't think I'd ever meet the requirements. And I guess that black hole in the sun there, I guess that's probably from the camera lens itself that's pinpointing, right, trying to point in the center. But that's kind of neat. Okay, guys, thank you, man.